ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 79 of Apron Podcast with Chia Boys, Carlos and Respace. Carlos, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm lucky enough to nothing's happened this week. It's such a quiet week, and I was just like, we gotta kind of bang out one episode, right? Let's fucking do one.
Yeah. I have not. I haven't said anything to you yet because, well, this nothing dropped into our lap. But it's funny. I'm wearing a Sixers jersey, right?
Yeah.
The whole James Harden, Ben Simmons trade happened, and I was like, what would be interesting? Both of these guys wanted out. We can talk about Ali. We could talk about guys who, kind of like make that.
That still stands, by the way. # free Ali.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? We can kind of make that like, should wrestlers be able to, ask for their release, all this shit.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say this. And then I wake up to a rumor of Stone Cold possibly wrestling at WrestleMania.
Making a run, yeah.
And this is not the first time that rumor's been out there, and it's been said before, and then he comes down and stuns people, and it's like, oh, well, that's not really wrestling. But we done an episode a long time ago about guys coming out of retirement, and that was around the Saudi Arabia stuff when Shawn Michaels came out of retirement. So we were talking about that, like, hey, should these guys come out of retirement? So I'm like, all right, well, maybe we veer towards that. We talk about that a little bit, update it, and then you text me. Actually, I think that's the first time I've seen it. You text me with this wonderful, wonderful news that Cody Rhodes, who was not working under a contract, has decided to part ways. Well, Cody and Brandi Rhodes part ways with AEW, which is huge for so many reasons.
It's the first defection.
Yeah.
In this modern wrestling landscape. Yeah, it's official too. Like there's actual full statements. I have all three statements here. I'll be reading them off in a minute. But yeah, this broke. I'm looking at it was 10:04 a.m. This was Tuesday, February 15th. According to the tweet from AEW. That's how I saw it. That's the first thing I saw. I think there was like a rumbling maybe like 2 minutes before, and which is rare, right?
Well,
to not hear anything.
And that's what, I think Tuesdays, I'm usually sleeping around then, and I was not because I was excited. I'm a huge Sixers fan. I mean, I've said it before on here. Yeah. See, you know what? I had this whole thing set up in the beginning. They're saying going from the MVP to the EVP, and I didn't do it. And I just had to throw it in there because I thought it was so good, and I did not transition it well enough at all.
Yeah.
But I was James Harden was going to have his introductory press conference at noon on Tuesday, so I went to see it live, and then it was just funny because he was set for noon, then suddenly out of nowhere, Ben Simmons was set for his at 11:30 in Brooklyn.
Oh,
So,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So it was like,
how petty.
I was waiting on that, so I was actually awake. So when you had texted me, I was not really paying that much attention to news. I think I seen the Stone Cold thing, but I didn't see the Cody thing yet, because the Stone Cold thing I think might have come out the night before, I believe. So I may have seen it when I was at work or whatever, but. Yeah. You said you'll run down them, and there are so many different things that we talked about, but if you want to run down, I guess, their statements real quick, and then we'll get into the meat of it here.
Yeah, we'll break this up. We have audience participation, which you can always participate if you add us at Apron Work on Twitter, and then always comment down below after the video post. We'll talk to you, maybe, as long as it's positive.
Even the not positive ones, we'll talk to you. We just might not be positive back.
Yeah, like that guy in TikTok. We also have a TikTok now, guys. Check it out at Apron Work. So yeah, this is from AEW. This is from Tony Khan, and so we have it has the official AEW little letterhead and stuff. Is like Cody and Brandi Rhodes were integral to the launch of AEW. Cody's ability, combined with his boldness and his passion for our industry and his love for the community outreach, helped AEW deliver on our mission to give fans what they needed for far too long, something new, innovative, and lasting. Brandi helped us shape AEW's story, and I appreciate how hard she fought for us both in the ring and out of the ring. Competing in the women's division, you didn't have to mention that, okay, while advocating for our efforts for inclusion and civic causes. That's a positive. So a negative, then a positive. Including great partnerships with Culture City and American Heart Association, which she just got that deal literally last week. She just worked a deal out with the American Heart Association. I have immense respect and appreciation for Cody and Brandi, and I wish them both the best as they move on from AEW. Thank you, Cody and Brandi. Tony Khan, CEO, President, General Manager, and Head of Creative of All Elite Wrestling. Holy shit. That's the first thing I heard. I was like, this is a work. This is not real.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I'm just going to go into Cody's lengthy one, and then I actually haven't read Brandi's, so I'm gonna read it. Hopefully, it's not like she's like, I hate Tony Khan. I'm like, oh shit, I did not pre-read this one. This sucks. So this is from Cody. He's like, I have loved my time at AEW. Amazing locker room, amazing fans, amazing people. The revolution was indeed televised, and I have been incredibly lucky to be a part of that. First, I want to thank Tony Khan. He's taken the baton and run with it. And it was an honor to work for him and to know him on a personal level. He's a beautiful soul. I also need to thank my incredible wife and mother of my baby girl, Brandi, for all her love. It made it seem like Brandi was the name of their daughter. That threw me off. For all her love and support throughout this journey, together in the amazing relationship she fostered with Culture City and the American Heart Association. Again, just to clarify, a week before, she was literally working this, and they had an angle with Paige what's her name? Paige Van
Zant.
Van Zant. Thank you. I really second guessed myself. I had it, and I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. As I look at her Instagram. You obviously know what I'm looking at. I also need to thank Nick and Mac Jackson. Those two, whether they know it or not, took an undesired and non-confident little cub and gifted him the confidence to become the leader of the pack. Kenneth Omega, I find that funny. Chris Jericho and Chicken. We started the fire. I must thank Tim with Keith, with Greg W., the Animation production crew who understand and capture the vision with such grace. I can't name everyone, but thank you to Mega, who I believe is their lawyer. Margaret, I think is another lawyer. Harrington, Jeff Jones, Dana, Tony Schiavone, Byrne, Raph, and the hardest worker in the game, QT Marshall. I'm going to call him Marshall. I'm not calling him Marshall. For prepping me up and kicking me in the ass when I was running on fumes. I must thank all my kiddos, MJF, Jay Cargill, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, Lee Moriarty, Ricky Steam. Sorry, MLW's in my head too. Ricky Starks, Tom. I don't know who the fuck Tom is. The Guns, Brock, Velvet, Nyla, Aubrey, Turner, Vanilla, Solo, Spears, Julia, Anna, Will, Wardo. Oh, fucking damn, it's late. Warlow, Sunny, Fuego 1, and of course, -1. While we're at it, give Jade the Cody Vader. Also, what is that move? We'll talk about that later. I don't know what that move is. Also need to take a moment to thank the greatest partners at Warner Media, including Brett, Sam, and the rest of the team. I have so many milestones and beautiful memories of this renaissance. Through sweat, blood, tears, literal fire, and all that, I left all on the mat. Everything pales in comparison to the final contribution I was empowered to lead at the company, the community outreach team. In the most inward moments, your outward behavior and your ability to take fame/influence and do something of value with the communities you visit, whether it was cameras on or off, is the highest honor. I'm confident Amanda Huber, John's widow. I'm sorry, Brody Lee's widow. Yeah, I was calling John Huber, like his actual real name. Will lead the department with style. I'm so proud of my creations and contributions and the items I supported or collaborated with in such a wonderful professionals. Thank you, fans. Y'all did the work. let's live forever, and it has like the little Cody Rhodes symbol. And then underscore, I just want to say there's a bunch of people like with almost vomiting like emojis. And then here's Brandi's, and then we'll kind of go off like all the brass tacks of what happened.
Yeah.
A heartfelt thank you to every fan who has supported me in AEW. It was an honor to be the company's first chief brand officer. The thank you list is long, so I'll not try to wander. Thank you to Culture City, Special Olympics, Illinois, and the American Heart Association for allowing me to cultivate these amazing partnerships. Thank you to every AEW heel, which is like you know what AEW heel is, right? Like,
yeah.
It's like a female led
for
thing.
For those of the people listening and don't know,
yeah, it's like a female led like kind of like a club. Like there's a membership.
Yeah.
Like you can like-minded women who love wrestling.
It was meant for them to get like emails and meet up with each other on Zoom and all that fun shit.
It reminded me of I don't know if you you're aware of this. But I don't know if every state does this or every team. The Phillies have like a night where like, oh, teach your significant other baseball because like you want to. It's fun to go to a game, but like there's a whole day. They have like wine, they have lunch, and like they run through like this is what the stadium is like.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a fun thing. So that was one of them. It's like similar, but AEW had that. So AEW heel that helped me build a dream community of female fans. Thank you to every AEW wrestler and talent that worked hard to create a great locker room environment. Thank you to the production team, makeup team, seamstress. Thank you to Dustin, QT, Jerry Lynn, Leva Bates for every ounce of energy, help, and encouragement you provided. Thank you to my husband for being that constant rocket partner every single day. Thank you to TNT, TBS, and Warner Media for treating my family like your family. Thank you to Tony Khan for giving me this opportunity and platform. I move forward with my daughter and quote in mind, we must take time to define our own path. Too quickly we can find the world defining it for us. Unknown. Also, I'll see you on the flippity flop, Michael Scott. And that's Brandi Rhodes' thing. So, yeah, Cody is done in AEW. When I text you, what was your first thought?
Yeah, see, we haven't really talked that much about it, and that's the funny thing. Usually we'll talk, even pre-episode, we talked about a hell of a lot more. For those of you out there who are watching and maybe even listening, I'm hoping everything's fine. This is the first time we're running on Discord.
Zoom was not working for us.
I had issues with Zoom. We've been meaning to do this for a while, to move over to Discord anyway. So we're on OBS on Discord, and hopefully everything goes fine. If there's sound issues, can't really fix it because Zoom lets me do separate audio files, and I can usually fix them afterwards. But
we'll figure it out.
on that little disclaimer,
my hair does look this bad.
When I seen it,
not obvious. Yeah.
When I seen it, and right now still, I think it's a work. I'm pretty convinced that it's a work. And I think it's an excellent work. I love how in depth it is. It just doesn't sound real when you put everything together. It just they've made it sound real. I can see some of the media sources playing along. I can see some of them might actually be duped. I could be wrong. I'm not one of those people that's hoping that I'm right. Yeah, I mean, like if all the other rumors about everything is true and that happens, great. I kind of compare it, and that's the hilarious thing about all this. And I will say, this whole thing has made WWE fans and AEW fans look awful. As a whole, it has, and I'm going
really
to,
has.
And the funny thing is, I was going through the episode about Ben Simmons and James Harden and everything, and it matches up pretty fucking well.
Yeah,
James Harden, Brooklyn fans loved him. He's here now. He was lazy. He quit on the team. Blah 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Simmons, we wanted him gone. other teams are laughing and saying that's messed up. He goes to Brooklyn. Well, the Philly fans were just mean to him, and he just needed to get out and all this other bullshit. And it's like, all right, man, come on, like you can respect a player and say, hey, like. There's other factors. There's other factors. There's the truth, which none of us know about anything. We don't know what the truth of Ben Simmons' whole thing was. Yeah. Philly fans have every right to be upset with him, but let's be honest. He had shit come out with his brother-in-law, his sister, literally accusing his brother, his half brother, of molesting her for years. And nothing was ever done about it. And let's be honest, I don't think Ben Simmons, I mean, I'm going to go down this real quick and go off it real quick just because I feel like I need to say it. I don't think that Ben Simmons' mental issues was as bad. And for somebody who has had issues with it, I'm kind of offended because it came out once they started finding him that he had mental issues. It literally talked about a back issue, I think, or something like that. There was an injury why he was saying he couldn't. And then once they started finding him, then his agent came out and said he has mental issues. It's been going on for a year now. They knew about it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why didn't you say it the first 7, like when you weren't going to show it before? Why is it coming out now that they're finding him? Oh, because they won't find him if you say that. Just like he needed to talk to his own therapist, he couldn't talk to the Sixers therapist. There's a lot of like weird things. Do I think he has mental problems? I'm sure he does, but that was not stopping him from playing basketball. And I think that's where my issue with it is. I am not downplaying the fact that he probably did have issues. He had something very traumatic happen. And to be honest with you, he might associate that with Philly. Maybe he doesn't want to be here anymore because he associates that with it. And he doesn't owe that. I don't care if he's making $100 billion a year that we're paying for his contracts. He don't owe that to any of us to give the ins and outs of it. There is a true story there. We don't know it. I'm still going to boo him. Still don't like him. I don't like how he treated the situation. So as a fan, I don't want anything to do with him. Just like I didn't like Cody in AEW. I felt like he wasn't entertaining enough for the spots he was in. I never agreed with people that hold him not putting people over. I just felt like him and Brandi didn't quite deserve what the spots they were in. And it was kind of coming out of nowhere at some time. It was almost like he was CM Punk or Bryan Danielson, where like he hadn't quite fully earned that spot other than the fact that he helped build the company. Okay. So I'm just not I'm not a huge fan. I thought Ted DiBiase was the shining star of Legacy, not Cody Rhodes. I've never been a fan of his wrestling completely. I just haven't been. It's not a knock on him, but to me, it's no huge loss in that sense. I think he'll be a hell of a loss as far as being their John Cena, who does all the appearances and all that stuff. I do think he'll be a loss there because I think he enjoyed it. And he was almost like the face that ran around did that. I do think that could be a loss there, but I also think it's a work. So, there's my feelings all jumbled into everything. I think it's a work. I think the goodbye messages is too much, if that makes sense. I feel like there's too many names being thanked. Unless he's retiring, because those were retirement words.
And he's gone on record saying he wants to retire before 40 or at 40.
Yeah.
And I think he's 35.
And if he's retiring and he's going to WWE in like a backstage role, then maybe I see him doing it. But I don't know. I just don't. It had a retirement speech feel.
You mentioned work, and I was thinking of the awesome like fake retirement with Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, yeah.
Oh my God, that was literally one of the best thing. I've been a Mark Henry fan from like jump, and then he was just not used correctly, and it was like a joke, and then when he finally came back with the dreads and like the House of Pain, you know,
Oh
the
yeah.
Museum of Pain model. Yeah, that I think that whole run. I saw him win. Uh, what's the name? He had like the world title. And he came in Philly. Like Kurt
Yeah.
Angle beat him. You know, all that stuff. I've seen all that stuff. I love that run, but yeah, that Raw, that infamous Raw where he was retiring, he literally had tears in his eyes, and John Cena. I was like, wow, I was tearing up, dude. I mean, I literally that's one of the few
Yeah.
times WWE's got me.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the funny
yeah,
thing is, and I'm going to say this on record right here before you get into your feelings on it.
Mm.
I think this is a long-term work. I do believe he might sign with WWE, and I do believe it is planned for him to come back to AEW. I don't know why. I can see it happening in a weird way. I could see him signing a 1-year deal, going and wrestling in WrestleMania, and then coming back like he's a bigger deal. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe I'm like hoping that is what that
yeah.
there. I guess is more my hope. Like, how great would that be if they were like, if he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go there. They're going to give me a WrestleMania match. They've already offered it to me. I'm gonna go get my money for me and my kid. You know, I'm gonna go get more money there, but I'll be back. And we can use it.
It's similar to how we talked about a Danielson, right?
Yeah.
Like when he signed with AEW, we're like, okay, so we definitely like everyone's like, how long's your deal? How long's your deal? Because it's like inevitable. I honestly think that Danielson will go back to WWE to retire,
Right.
and that's when he gets the Hall of Fame treatment. He'll be the featured wrestler of that class and everything
Yeah.
like that. But he wants matches. He wants specifically under his belt. He's getting them in AEW, and I think he has a unique position to like put over younger talent, similar to what Punk is doing as well. And then, I mean, the New Japan's fucking right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay White, you know, not to go too much about what's recently happened in AEW, like we kind of do and usually break down stuff, but like Jay White just showed up in AEW. New Japan's like right fucking there, dude.
Yeah.
COVID's almost gone, it seems like, for the most part.
And
Travel restrictions are going down in the States.
When does the G1 start? Is that in March? I think it's
Could
coming
be
up.
March or June. Yeah, just something
Is
like
it
that.
June?
Yeah, I think it's June, right? I feel like it was like summertime when like the opening round started. I think it's like June to like near August, and then it's
Okay.
like the tag team tournament happens in the fall.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
And like,
whenever like that's I fully I don't know. I mean
I
he's
kind of think he's going to be in the G1.
He's going to be there.
Yeah, I think him and Punk might.
I was
going to
say me selfishly I want to see Punk in it too.
Yeah, I as well.
But yeah,
I as well.
I think
But
Danielson's definitely.
Daniels is, and I don't think this is a bad thing. I think a lot of AEW fans are going to be pissed when he eventually leaves, but I don't think it's a negative thing. I think we are very lucky to see Danielson be Danielson, you know, for a couple years, like the Danielson of old. Getting to do all the crazy stuff he's been wanting to do, be this violent personality, be heel, face, tweener, it doesn't matter. He has control over his destiny for at least 3 years, it seems like.
Yeah.
I guarantee you though, he will retire in WWE only because he's forged lasting relationships there. Like truly lasting. Like going from like getting fired your first fucking day for choking out Justin Roberts. And then coming back and then like clawing your way up to the top and then like earning that spot and then being a very nice backstage player.
He met his wife there, who's still
met his wife
involved.
there. Yeah,
You know, there's a
his
lot
fucking father-in-law is John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
He is actually apparently really good friends with Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're friends with Vince McMahon, I mean, I'm sure that's beneficial to you in a sense.
right.
But
it's the same idea. I think we both probably agree that Jericho probably finished his career with one last WWE run. I think we all kind of had that. And I think on the flip side, I think Kevin Owens signed that contract he did because I think he might finish his career with AEW. I think he wanted to get that one last money deal to support his family. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't doubt that when this contract's over, and Sammy, I think the same. I would not doubt that they signed to be over about the same time. I would not doubt that you see them come in here later. Obviously this will all depend on AEW still being around a couple years, but like
God willing, man.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm not saying that I think it won't be. I just in their minds too. All these other guys just jumped in there. Let's wait a couple years. Let's get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in there when these guys are getting a little bit more stale, and now they're new blood going in there.
It could work out that way. It's an interesting time. My initial reaction when I read that was, "Oh, holy fuck!" And I said that out loud. Of course, being in my work environment, not great to say out loud. Everyone gets scared, especially in an office. And then I text you, and then I text the entrance ramp guys, which I have the text here, which is hilarious. Poor Mark. He went through it. Mark went through it. He's a huge Cody Rhodes fan, and it's specifically because of his AEW work. He wasn't that sold on Cody, but Cody really, like, between the matches, the adamant face he's been. I mean, there's obviously missteps, right? Like the Go-Go program did not go as planned.
Right.
And it's funny, I sent you that Wrestle Talk kind of timeline of what the past year has been, like what's been rumored. I mean, there's some sources like ESPN and stuff like that. Apparently, Go-Go got hurt either early on the match or right before that match. That's why Cody went over.
Right.
And Cody fought that. According to reports. Obviously, in the world of professional wrestling, everything could be a work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be a lie. But
Go-Go was out for a while right after that.
He was, eye surgery. So that it does line up perfectly. So it seems like Cody wanted him to go over, but between that promo right before the America versus British thing, which is stupid as shit, him basically looking like fucking Homelander from The Boys, and who's a heel, who's a bad guy, and then him going over on Go-Go. I forget the gentleman's name from Britain who mentioned it in Wrestle Talk. I'm so sorry. You don't watch our show, but I'm so sorry. I got your name wrong. He made mention that left. It seems like it left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouth, and I would have to agree.
Right.
I was fine with him. I wasn't happy with him winning because I was like, "Ooh, is this a sign of him being Triple H?" Which we have accused Triple H of in when he was like world heavyweight champion on Raw for that long period of time.
Yeah.
Are you just getting yourself over? Are you the first one to do it? Out of the EVPs. And I don't think that was the case. Now I actually do believe a lot of stuff, and then some stuff has come out as well. I don't have those articles. Again, that Wrestle Talk video actually did a pretty good job of kind of painting a picture of what the timeline was. The not turning heel was because of the charity work, apparently. And I don't know, man. That's what played a factor when I started thinking about it, right? So I was like, immediately I was with you. It's a work. It has to be a work. There's no way. This is brilliant. We'll see him in like 6 months or whatever, and he'll come in and all this stuff. I mean, to be fair, I would love to be wrong.
I mean, he's going to spend time with his baby. It keeps him away. It keeps him out of the ring for a little bit. He could still kind of work backstage without people knowing that he's working backstage.
Yeah.
He could work on his TV show and do all this other stuff, which are still all on Turner networks. I think that's the biggest thing where I'm like, dude.
I don't think so. I think as of this recording, I think Road to the Top is canceled now.
Okay.
At least season 2. I don't think that's going forward now.
Was that after this happened, or was that something that happened before?
I think that's after Monday or Tuesday now, or at least I don't know if Warner got heat of it on Monday, but I haven't seen any official word. But it'd be
canceled. And for those of you just listening, I'm doing air quotes. It's canceled, and now suddenly Cody has a YouTube Road to the Top that's weirdly produced the same way. I don't know. There's gonna be a 2-hour block now on Wednesdays on USA, and it's Ms. and Mrs. and Road to the Top. I've been conditioned to be skeptical when it comes to stuff like this.
It's the world of professional wrestling, right?
And
Even this, like, not hearing, like, Mark swore to God, like, the texts are hilarious because it's like I love him to death. It's like a mental deterioration of him for, like, it's like it's a work, it's a work, it's a work, it's a work. PW Insider reported it's true. Fuck. And I think a lot of us have that fear, a legitimate fear. I have some tweets about, I'll get to at the end of the show when we talk about with our listeners. But I was on the fence. I was work until I think end of my business day on Tuesday, and I was like, fuck, I think this is real. And I'm like looking over. I was like, why would they have a specific report, right? Like a specific statement. And I was like, with the statement, I mean, again, it could be a work. I just think having an official letterheaded statement from Tony it's unprecedented. I'm not saying I wouldn't be upset if it's a work. I can see a lot of people being like, listen, there's a way to go about this where not to do it as a work. And then, to be fair, you mentioned the WWE thing. He could sign. I have articles here as well, but he could sign. That could be true. He could show up at the Performance Center this weekend while they're over in Saudi Arabia and sucking that Saudi dick money, whatever CM Punk said last year to the Miz or whatever. They could very well be doing that right now. He's rumored to be filming vignettes apparently this weekend. I mean, Orlando's not that far from Georgia, right? He's in Atlanta. It's like a 2-hour drive, whatever. Yeah. There's a chance. I mean, there's a chance all of this is not a work. There's a chance this is a work. Ideally, it would be cool. It's a work. He's gone for like 6 months to a year.
Right.
And then he shows up finally as a heel with, EC3 and Adam Shear and Mecca Brian Johnson and
I mean,
just run roughshod over the elite.
I don't know. And the funny thing is, everything I just said about him going to WWE, it could be legitimate where he's like, hey, you don't want to pay me this, they want to pay me this. If I'll show you I can get that money from them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could this be real? Yeah, it could. I will say, me mentioning not being a fan of Cody, it's not that I'm not a fan of him in the ring. I've become more of a fan of his in-ring work with AEW. Yeah. One of my biggest gripes is a lot of other people's biggest gripes. He had the most over the top entrance that he's coming out to on Dynamite. If that was his pay-per-view entrance, okay. But
every night,
3 other people on the whole roster had pyros. You have pyro smoke. You have a beginning song for your entrance song. You come out and
the Bucks don't even have pyro. They just have money.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho came out to pyro with the whole Judas in My Mind stuff like that. But some of that's that almost fit Jericho a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so over the top.
Yeah. Also painting yourself as this. I'm never gonna win the world championship. Mark in our text group constantly was like, that's a thing. I felt like that's not the right decision. And I mean, there was just there's also God, there's they did so much outreach program. That's the crazy thing, right? I mentioned when Brandi and Cody were mentioned, they just worked that deal out with the American Heart Association last week. Stuff just got printed with those shirts and stuff. Yeah. And Brandi was literally just in a program with American Top Team. Well, thank God that's over. Jesus,
but that's
God.
where I've seen people mentioning how and I hate to quote Dave Meltzer, and I know one of the people on Twitter said, "Don't believe anything Meltzer said," or whatever they said on it.
Yeah, that's the weird one. Right?
There's one where he mentions about how their lawyers couldn't come to an agreement and all this other shit. But like you said, if you're not under contract, clearly this has been an issue for the last 6 weeks. This did not just come out of nowhere. Tony didn't say, "Hey, I'll take care of you in a couple weeks. Just wait, just wait, just wait. And then he asked for his money. And clearly this has been brought up, which is why he didn't re-sign to begin with. So, like, to make it sound like, oh, well, the lawyers had to get involved and they couldn't come to an agreement. So now he's gone.
Yeah. And
it's then why, like you said, why throw Brandi out there for her to start things? Why start a thing with her?
That last thing? Yeah, at least Cody wasn't on TV.
Yeah,
these past 2 weeks, right? Says he lost to Sammy.
Yeah, his whole deal with losing to Sammy. If Brandi was not on TV, I guess I would believe it more. And I think that's another thing where, like, I don't believe it, because I feel like there's too much going to the contrary. Now, if I'm wrong, this has just been a really weird situation, and it is unprecedented. Like, you just don't know. Like,
in this day and age, we knew. I mean, I think we knew this was going to happen in a way, right? We knew someone had to do the opposite, right? We assume everyone's going to AEW, but, like, of course, someone's going to come to WWE or something. And I mean, mind you, he could not show up in WWE. I have these reports. I'll break that down in a little bit, but he could not show up. He can show up in Impact again. He can show. I mean, literally, the world is his oyster now. He's seen.
I mean, there is the whole thing, like you said, with EC3, where they control your narrative shows.
Yeah,
and stuff
he's
like
friends
that.
with those guys.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, he's friends with them. He's friends with Corgan over at NWA. He's been NWA World Heavyweight Champion twice, right? He's held that belt. ROH. Is going to make a resurgence coming in April. He's been ROH World Heavyweight Champion on an occasion. You know, New Japan. I mean, technically, he could work full time for New Japan and just not do AEW stuff. They have that partnership, but still, he doesn't have to.
Right.
He could just be a thing like that. Impact. I mean, listen, Impact is whatever. Again, they have good spots. I can't lie to say that, Jesus Christ, why can't I think of his name? The guy who runs the promotion. Only because I'm tired. I can't think of it. The Canadian guy.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of his name. Scott D'Amore. Scott
D'Amore. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Scott D'Amore. No, he legit is like a brilliant mind, right? He has all the tools, but it's just like some stuff isn't working out. Obviously, their knockouts division is, pun intended, a knockout.
Yeah.
They have that going for them, and then their world title pitch has always been kind of fucking iffy. Like,
right. Yeah.
But like they have a good talent pool, and who knows if they get the mind of a 35-year-old former EVP Cody in there, you know, with Scott. Like, what does that forge a history for Impact? That could be a thing. But it's looking like it's WWE.
Yeah.
And I mean, we try not to be so negative on WWE, but I say this every episode. I mentioned this when I was on, I just guested on the Nerdic Gods podcast, which you can check them out, youtube.com/nerdicgods. And Sims, the very nice British fellow, he's a huge wrestling fan. I would love to get him on the show. We got to figure out time, but I think it's like probably like 7 a.m. over there right now.
It would have been perfect.
Actually, shit, that might work. Actually, one day if I just kill my sleep, I normally do for this show. We actually get Sims in here. Yeah, I have a whole thing I want to talk to him about British wrestling. But you know, I mentioned to him on that show when we got off topic a little bit, just talking about wrestling. I was like, and I mentioned Apron work. I was like, we try not to shit on WWE, but they just make it so easy. This frightens me, right? I'm worried about him going to WWE. Like, where do you fit, man? Like, and that's no knock against Cody at all, not at all. I think he's an A+ player. I honestly do. I've always, like you said, you like Ted. I was a fan of Ted at first, and then I saw Cody, and then something about that name, right? Rhodes. At the time, I always like, oh wait, you know, I came around to the conclusion that Dustin has always been good. That's like the time when he started in WWE. I was like, oh shit, you know what? I should have looked at Dustin differently this whole time. And fortunately, he has drugs. You know, that didn't help him for the longest time. But like, yeah, no, Dustin is this dude. He's legit. And then having Cody show up and like you see it. You can see the Cody we see now in that original Cody. He's just slowly building. I think he's really coming in his own as a wrestler, as a executive, as everything, right? Like he wants to be this almost master of all things instead of jack of all trades. He wants to be like
Right.
a master of all trades. And I think he balances a lot really well. I won't. My only knock on Cody is he is shorter than he appears on TV. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm taller
Yeah.
than him, so if he's
Yeah.
lying, you know I'm lying.
Yeah.
Don't look at my ID.
Um.
But
Yeah. Now,
ugh,
I tend to agree with you on the WWE
yeah,
thing. You know, right into this, we can run down a lot of the rumors of why it's real. I'm not going to sit here and keep saying it's fake because it could be real, and there's a lot.
that's
There's a
the weird
lot
thing.
of stuff that came out, so we can run down some of that stuff. But I know one of the things, and I guess that's where it doesn't make the most sense to me is there's the whole rumor out there that that Vince wants to use him in a big match at WrestleMania, like a main event match. And
Yeah,
again, this is not a knock on Cody. Please don't take it that way. This is not a knock on WWE. But if we were to have a WrestleMania type event right now for AEW, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be in the main event.
yeah,
Now you're going to have
yeah. You're
Brock
right.
Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, all this stuff, and he's going to be in a main event match. Now, what are you considering a main event match? It's my question. Are you calling it a main match because he's going to have a singles match on WrestleMania card? Because that their definition of a main event match and my definition is two completely different things. You're going to bring him back to wrestle Stone Cold. Is he going to wrestle
Yeah, and
Goldberg?
then
Like I don't, and those are not interesting to anybody. Him against Triple H is the only thing. And the whole
that
thought
would
that,
be good.
but the whole thought that they were pulling him back because of the heart issues and stuff like that. If there's truth to that,
Hmm
that
hmm
match probably isn't happening. So it's
The only one that
uh,
sticks out to me in this scenario is Cody versus Randy.
yeah. But
In my
is
head,
that
that's a main event match, but it's hard to
would it
call
be
it a main
billed as a
event.
main event match?
You know what? They've worked with less time.
Yeah, I just don't.
Oddly enough, WWE has been able to pull off the feel that this is important in less time. Like that last year with Bianca and Sasha, I felt like the lead up from WrestleMania from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania was like 60% or 70%, I'll say, nothing at all. And that final third, it's like you stay up, you don't do any of the work until like the night before, and then you get into class and I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't know if this is gonna last. And you're like, all right, cool. So you got an A minus, like nailed it. That's what it felt like with
Yeah.
that build with them, because that came out of nowhere. Like I think everyone was complaining, like, you guys need to build this. You guys need to build this. Come on, man. Like she's won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
This is not working. This is not working. This is not working. And then finally, it was like the day of. They're like, hey, they're main eventing. The package was amazing. The past 3 weeks were amazing. It was like finally, but like you have 3 months.
I
You
guess
know,
I guess.
if he
Again,
debuts Raw or SmackDown this week,
but how?
not this week, but
Hold on.
next week.
But how is he?
Yeah.
I guess how is he getting over with the crowd? How is he getting over with the crowd? And that's where my biggest question is with all of this. How is he getting over with the crowd? Because outside of coming out and basically shitting on AEW, where is he
Oof.
getting over with the
Yeah.
crowd on? You know what I mean? If he's not going to do that, and I'm going to assume that since he has close friends at AEW, he's not going to come out and completely shit on them. How does he get over with
Brian
the crowd then?
hasn't. Yeah.
How does he get over with the crowd? Right now, AEW fans are not fans of his. WWE fans, let's be honest here, a lot of them are kids, probably won't know who he is or who his dad is. So now, the Rhodes name doesn't hold a whole lot of water. The AEW fans that are showing up at WWE shows have been booing him at AEW shows, so they're not going to be on
Yeah.
his side. So what do you do at this point? What do you do? Do you make him a heel? Do you make him as the guy that says, I built a company from the ground up and you couldn't? That's the only direction you really can go with him because he's not coming out as a face. Those fans are not going to cheer him.
I don't even think he can, right? Yeah. I
So
think this is the opportunity.
he has to come in almost like a parody of himself and saying, I'm bigger than this place.
I mean, he was coming out Stardust.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. Like, I'm imagining him coming out and a plumber gimmick and them saying the
grandson
of a plumber is now a plumber, and like them just completely wrecking
oh my
him.
God, he just takes
in a gimmick and just
Steven Regal's William Regal's like old, like the working man,
the man's man.
God, the man's man.
But like,
holy shit!
I guess that's where all of this loses reality to me. I
mean, that's fair.
How is it huge? How is it huge? WWE fans were not pining to get Cody Rhodes back. AEW fans, they wanted more out of Cody because they felt like he was. You're almost. The only way this works is if he gives WWE what AEW fans have been begging for from him. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. He's got to come out as that cocky showboat heel that AEW fans wanted him to be, because that's who he was. He was a cocky showboat heel telling everybody he was a face. He literally rubbed people the wrong way because he was acting like that. I'm better than you. I deserve these pyros because I'm the EVP. Like, he was the only one that you felt that way about. I know the Young Bucks win matches and Kenny Omega held the title and everybody said, oh, it's because they're EVPs. But who's the guy that's on our TV all the time? Who's the guy that they remind is back there with Tony Khan doing stuff? It's always been Cody. Who's the guy that they say, oh, wow, look, Cody Rhodes came. He was just helping in the back. And, how many times did you hear, Kenny Omega was helping in the back? Oh, Young Bucks were helping in the back. You don't hear it that way.
No. Yeah,
so,
they like him being an EVP has been part of his character.
Like if Tony Khan came out right now and won the TNT title, would he get cheered or booed?
Yeah, he would get booed. 100%.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what Cody's doing. They're saying Cody is on the level of Tony Khan, and they're showing us with his headset on and how he just came from the back and how he was just doing this, and then he's booking himself to win. You're giving us Vince McMahon and trying to mix it with John Cena and saying, hey, this is like... he's doing good for you. Like, he just booked his buddies in a match. Why aren't you happy about this, that he just booked his wife to be in some main event match when she can't wrestle? But cheer him, please. Like, that's the only way this works with WWE. And it could work perfectly if they allowed him to come out and say, I built AEW. I'm bigger than everybody here, including Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I walk through the forbidden door. I'm the forbidden door, not you.
Yeah, I shut down NXT. Look at that garbage you have now. I shut down what it was.
God, dude,
if they allowed him to come out and do that, he would have so much heat.
The world on his hands, honestly.
Bully Ray would die.
Yeah,
he would die
from the heat. From the heat.
But that's the only way this works successfully. I mean, that's what makes me hold on, you don't want to be viewed as a heel, but the only way you're going to WWE and being successful is if you become a heel, because there's no way they can bill you as a face. Unless they think fans didn't watch AEW, doesn't know who he is, and they can almost do vignettes of how he's Dusty Rhodes' son, hoping that fans don't remember who he is.
Someone made the joke about getting him polka dot, black with polka dot.
Have him come out to his dad's music, all that shit. Other than that, and them hoping that the fans are just going to ignore, Braun Breaker, just ignore everything else that happened on the outside.
Oh my God.
I don't see how it works. So
I guarantee this: he's going to come out and be called the American Dream.
Yeah,
100%. He's gonna come out as the American Dream.
Yeah, I that's why I just have a hard time seeing it. I have a hard time seeing it. I just have a hard time seeing it. I don't know. He's not coming to win a main title there. I don't get it. With
the current landscape of what WWE is, right? He pushes Big E down again, right? So Big E's just done. completely. I mean, there's talks that Vince is like, hey, don't call them the New Day, call them Big E and Kofi right now,
Right.
teaming, because his fucking thing where like, oh, the person needs to look strong and by themselves, whatever. They're friends, why not? And also they're in Gears of War. they're a team. Just say they're a team.
Right.
It's fine. But he wants to distance that, so he's still like a big player. To me, that's another person taking Big E's place.
Yeah.
To me, that is someone holding back and AJ Styles from winning the title. That's someone who's holding back a Kevin Owens from winning the title again. Because we know Roman is always going to be in this picture, no matter what. Brock is still around, still like, hey, he's making his money. I think there's valid criticism to make of Brock Lesnar still being around. He would still beat the shit out of me for me making those valid criticisms, and it's valid for him to hurt me, I guess. But like, he's still around. Like, Brock is still going to be a thing. Roman's still going to be a thing. So where does Cody land, right? And do you keep him? WWE doesn't do good with upper mid card or lower main roster, like main card, right?
It's all 50-50.
Yeah, like Randy's always been consistent, and like AJ's been good, and like, you know, like there are these top players, right? That have not coasting. I wouldn't say they're coasting. I think they have legitimate storylines and stuff, and they can't be there's only 2 belts. You can't be that world champion, even though you were before.
Yeah.
Seth, you know, Kevin, AJ, Randy. But, and there's no knock against all of them. When's the last time they've seen a world title? Will they see a world title again? If, you know, and now there's another person that you want to insert into that top, I don't want to call it top middle because I feel like it's almost a meaning, but like that top middle section, right?
Yeah.
Is Cody going to be doing what CM Punk's doing over in AEW? Is he going to be putting like younger people over these, or is he going to have a program with Damian Priest? You know, is he going to have a program with Shinsuke? Is he going to have a program with Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title? Does he bring back the white title? You know, like all this other stuff. Miz obviously is one of his best friends. Ziggler is one of his best friends. Right. Does he bring them back up from obscurity where they were? Edge is around. There's stuff that can make it like a main roster big time feel that doesn't involve a belt, but like you're still in that way of people who deserve that belt more than you. Yeah. That you made a fucking company. Why not just win the fucking belt over there?
And he's going to be looked at worse for doing it in WWE than he would have had he won the title in AEW. Honestly, a light bulb just went off when you were talking, and you mentioned New Japan, and the only thing that, when I say there's a long-term work, and I'm still convinced in some way it is, so Jay White just came back, right? And I think he mentioned in an interview or whatever that the Bullet Club, you know, has lost its way, or is, you know, hasn't been big, and he's come back to get Adam Cole and the Young Bucks back to the Bullet Club. Yeah. Now, you want to really turn Cody. What you do is you bring Cody back to the Bullet Club. You bring back the black hair. You just don't say anything about it. He signs with New Japan. Now he leads the charge with Jay White and the Guerrillas of Destiny, and they lead the charge against the old Bullet Club. You know, he leads the charge against them. It's the company that he built. It's that whole Vince McMahon NWO thing. Yeah, I'm going to inject poison. You know, I built this. I'm going to inject the poison known as the NWO to, you know, I built this. I can kill it, and it writes itself where now it's Cody against Tony Khan. That forbidden door that Tony Khan left open, Cody broke down because he brought all New Japan with him. He brought all Bullet Club with him, and Tony can't stop him. And now you have the NWO-esque kind of running roughshod on AEW, where now Cody is leading the way against him, where Tony basically has to give in, sign him, give him, take away that, because really what you're going to find out is that was the holding point. Is Cody wanted the new contract. That's why he waited, because he wanted to run out so he can go after the title. And now, I picture like Vince, like Cody being this weird anti-Austin, where he's like, just sign it,
So
and
corporate.
He's like, you got it. I just picture Tony Khan, you got it, damn it. All right. And then just signs it in front while the fans are just booing him out the fucking building. God. And he's just laughing. And now suddenly you have it signed, him against Hangman or him against Adam Cole, which would probably end up being it if you're talking long term. Because it's funny, the two people I told you are going to be the next champions are weirdly number one contenders, and I don't want to know when Revolution is, but I think it's in March. Thunder Rosa's number one in the women's, Adam Cole's number one in the men's. We very well could see two new champions there. I told you those were the next ones, and those are sitting there. But
You're right.
Adam Cole will get cheered. We've seen it. Adam Cole can bring that group to be cheered. And Cody will only get them cheered more if it becomes a New Japan against AEW thing. Because New Japan will not get cheered by that crowd if it's being brought in by Cody. Where they're trying to take over AEW. They're trying to kill AEW. Again, this is the whole invasion angle done in a completely different way, but not really.
Than we previously seen. Yeah,
it's what we wanted out of the invasion angle. Again, high hopes out of all of this, because I'm not upset that it would be a work. I'm hoping it's a work, because there's so many ways out of this, and I feel like for Cody's career, it pushes him down going to WWE. It's just going to. I don't see
this
how
literally is a cash grab, and I'm not even blaming the guy.
I don't see how he's going to be viewed as anything other than a mid-carder in WWE.
And here's the thing too, right? That I wanted to touch on. He, ever since 2016 when he was released, when he wanted his release, I mean, has been attack WWE, right? The infamous clip going around Facebook right now is the exorcism of Cody, right? He's like almost speaking in tongues. He's shaking, his eyes rolling back, and like Matt Jackson pulls his shirt off. He's got the WWE like embedded in his logo, and he does the Stardust like hiss in his face. Like there's always jokes on BTE, and I felt like Cody was leading the charge with that. Infamously, the first pay-per-view of AEW, what does Cody do? He grabs a fucking sledgehammer and takes out an Iron Cross throne to take out the King of Kings, Triple H, right? I mean, they just like overtly he has attacked WWE. The Bullet Club led the charge where they try to pull the DX thing, right? Where they try to show up at a live event. They got turned away because WWE's like, no, we've made this playbook. You can't outplay us, bro. and things like that. He's been so vocal and angry.
Yeah.
So like. And like constantly trying like, well, you're gonna trademark this and you're gonna keep my dad's name, fine. Then I want this. You won't give me my last name, then fine. Fuck this. I'm taking this. You don't own Beach Bash anymore. You don't own this. You know what I mean? Like, things like that. He's been so adamant about, and some stuff it feels like he's attacking. Some stuff it feels like no. This is like part of my family's legacy, and it should stay with wherever my family is. Right. So creating AEW should have a lineage there.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, what? How do you piss off Vince McMahon that much and then be like, "Hey, man, but you got that money?"
And that's the thing. If Vince views it as a win, and I know there's those rumors out there that that people in WWE are already waving the tail, saying, "Hey, we stole their EVP," and yeah, he wants to put him in a big match, and in all honesty, Cody's not going to win at WrestleMania. If he's viewing it as a win as they sold their guy, Cody's not going to win. I don't care who he's wrestling against, Cody's going to lose. It's like Sting. Sting should have won his match at WrestleMania, but he didn't. You know why? Because Vince wants to prove that he's better than you.
Yeah.
And you know it. He's MJF. Vince is
Yeah, he is
MJF.
MJF.
He wants to prove it. He wants to not only prove that he can buy you, but he wants to prove that he was better than you, and you're going to fucking take that shit sandwich and you're going to eat it in front of everybody because he said so. Because he wins. Ha ha ha. He's done it plenty of times. It ain't going to stop.
He's petty as fuck.
Yes,
Yeah,
it ain't going to stop. And Cody, one of his reasons for wanting to leave is because of how petty he was. So that's why I said it all like is some weird combo of like, did you forget about this? Are you really that upset that Tony Khan took away? I'm going to reference some of the rumors because we haven't really gotten fully into those.
Yeah.
One of the things is that Tony Khan took booking away from him, took his booking power away, and he wanted it back. He wouldn't give it to him. There's one. Mm-hmm. Another one has been that he wanted some stock in AEW because he felt like he helped build it, and Tony Khan owes 100% of the stock. There's people out there saying
he's wanted more power. Yeah, like he wanted to almost be on par with Tony.
I know that there's people out there that said it's not a publicly traded company. There's no stock. There is stock in companies that aren't publicly traded. It's just
it's eternal.
It's for you to have it if it goes public, kind of thing. So there's a rumor that he wanted that. Tony said no. There's a rumor that he wanted Punk money. He wanted to be paid like CM Punk.
Punk has the highest contract in AEW.
Yeah, so he wanted to be paid like him, and I guess him and Jericho, I think, are the two highest right now, or whatever.
Yes,
so he wanted to be paid like them, and they said no. In reality, he shouldn't be unless he's also being paid for all the work he's doing behind the scenes. But let's be honest here, Jericho and Punk bring more attention from an outsider's perspective than Cody ever will. Cody ever will. They just will. If networks hear Punk, his name is there. Jericho's name is there. No matter how much of the other shit Cody does, he's never going to be John Cena. He's never going to be that big. He's just not. So those are a lot of the rumors that those were his issues. And they couldn't come to it, whatever it may be, a mixture of all three, whatever. I don't know that I've heard anything else other than those. Those seem to be the biggest rumors of sticking points.
Just going through the two articles I have here from Wrestle Inc. and it's Mark Middleton and this one, damn it, Sai Mohan. Yeah, it seems like not too much as you haven't touched on. I mean, like negotiations hit a snag a few weeks back. Pay has been the reason apparently, and it's been rumored that it's because Punk has the highest thing. And it's basically been like he doesn't view Cody the same as he did. And they only have very few money that they can spend. There's apparently an option to renew their TV deal in 2024, and if that's the case, if they can get a bigger deal, then it's rumored that Tony wants to do then bring in more people at that point.
Right.
Like he's going to start slowing down this year and next year. Yeah. And bringing people in unless it's that big, right? Yeah. There was a hint of a debut tonight that I mentioned before we started filming. There's no official announcement. You'll see it, and it's like, oh, I know who that person is in the background. But there was no word whatsoever of the person. Just don't go on Twitter because everyone's basically tagging the person.
I'm not gonna look.
Yeah,
at
just
now.
watch it first and then go.
Yeah.
They said that both Cody and Brandi had been working on projects in the future. It was said that this morning lawyers were involved with working out the split between the two sides. Khan has said in the past he had contract options for all key talent of 2022. Rhodes did have an option to have a year at it, or possibly two. So Khan he made the decision not to exercise that option. So that's a thing that has been,
and that's where. I guess that's another part that loses me in all this because Cody wanted more money, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that option was not a pay raise. It was probably how much he was making. So Tony Khan could have
Yeah.
approved an option at the normal rate
I
and
think so. That's
decided
what he
not
did with the
to.
Bucks, right? I think
But
that's
that's what
similar to
like,
what he did with the
but
Bucks.
that's where like I know there's even been people throwing things out there, and again we don't know what's true and what's false. I really hate spreading rumors, but this whole story is one big rumor until we find out what it is. They said that WCW apparently a guy like Hogan had it in his contract that he always had to be the highest paid or whatever.
Yes, so they
And
brought somebody in with more
Brock,
money, it bumped his pay up.
like Brock
Yes.
apparently has it in there, and they were like, it's what killed WCW, but because they gave so many guys that power. But they said those guys understand that, hey, if you're getting paid top tier money, you're going to be a top tier guy. A guy like Danielson, a guy like Punk, I'd say Omega, probably the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole might be the only guys on their roster right now. Moxley.
Yeah.
And Jericho. Jericho, just because of the namesake, are the only guys that probably deserve more money than the rest, in my mind, right now.
Yeah,
because
okay.
they're Orange Cassidy, Danhausen. Because they probably bring in more money than all those other guys combined on merchandise and shit like that. But those guys, I don't think are ever going to. I can't see Orange Cassidy holding up WWE or AEW for $4 million.
Yeah.
Because he's probably getting paid out the asshole for all this merchandise and him.
Isn't
being
that interesting
there.
too? I want to know what Punk's contract is.
Yeah.
Price wise, what's the length, and like no one cares about the length for Punk, right?
Right.
Because you're like, well, you're definitely not going anywhere. You're staying here until you're done.
Yeah.
But with Danielson, everyone was so like, when are you done? When are you done? When are you done? How
Yeah.
many years? Because it's inevitable that you're going to
Right.
WWE. I'm just trying to look at here what we have. Like it seems, I do find it interesting that Tony Khan decided not to exercise that option.
See, unless there was something where the option was to increase it, like Cody's making $3 million and the option was for $4 million, and he was like, I just don't want to keep increasing it. I don't know the ins and outs of the amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a guy like Cody deserves more money if he's doing as much behind the scenes and all this outside work for the company that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like people like that should be paid for their different roles. Now maybe that opens the floodgates for like if Punk and Sting are bringing people off to the side, they're not being paid for it, but Cody's volunteering to do this shit, and they're like, why should he be paid for it? I'm making just as much of an impact with people behind here.
Yeah.
There's all those old rumors of him and Kenny and the Young Bucks, there being friction. Where I see a lot of stuff now playing off that. Like, this has been going for some time now, and Tony Khan's basically siding with the other side.
Yeah, from what I heard from the Wrestle Talk video, I forget what source he mentioned, but he said that it seems like as of like 3 months ago, that started clearing up.
Yeah.
Like that, like 3 or 4 months ago, that they actually started like kind of not like, I don't know, the friction's weird because it seems like, I don't know, not that like there was specifically some tension. It was like, I guess it was more tension than anything, right?
Yeah.
And that they started kind of mending those fences.
But and that's it sounded like, and it's kind of the same thing where I think Swole, when she left, one of her things was against Kenny Omega, because Omega had a lot of hand in the women's wrestling,
specifically
and
Joshi stuff too.
And she said that she did not. They butted heads a lot. She did not see eye to eye with his vision, but she basically says like that's normal. You're not going to see eye to eye with everybody. Mm-hmm. He has his own opinion. She had hers. They didn't get along because their opinions clashed. She didn't hate him for it. She just said, "Hey, we have different opinions. That's okay."
Yeah, she even mentioned, she was like, it wasn't even like a hate thing.
And that's just what I feel like. That's what Cody. Cody seemed like a guy who was like, "Hey, we need to work day and night. This has to be our lives, so we can build this." Mm-hmm. And the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are like, "Dude, we're bringing the star power. Let other people do the behind the scenes shit." Young Bucks and Kenny were making money hand over fist. We
Mhm.
are drawing all these eyes here. Why do we need we got EVP titles not because we were going to do the job. We got it because we were kind of the ones that formed this. But we weren't asked to come in here and do that. So
And
why
that's the
am I
thing
going
with
to take
Cody,
away from
right?
my family?
And that's the thing with Cody, right? He is so dusty in that sense, right?
Yeah.
He is more so than Dustin. Like he is that force that wants to, I mean, to take a term from him, revolutionize wrestling, take it to a next dimension, take it to what it can be, what he feels like the natural evolution of wrestling can be. And he is always, he has that work ethic that his father had. You know, we always make the joke, son of a plumber, all that crap. But like that promo, but it's you've seen what Dusty has tried. I mean, there's a reason why there is a term within wrestling called the Dusty finish. You know, there's a reason because he's tried everything. He's tried to like change what wrestling is and do different
Yeah.
things. And I think Cody specifically is inherent to that. I feel like a need or responsibility he felt he's needed to do within wrestling to kind of follow his father's work.
Right.
He's always felt like he's shooting for, and I don't think this is a negative quality. I think it's a positive one for him. He always felt like he's shooting for more than you expect from him, right? Like you think he's here, he's shooting from over there though. Like he's trying to get above that. Whether it works or not, you know, there are those instances, and like you mentioned, like you not being the it's not that you hate him, it's like you're not the biggest fan
Yeah.
of Cody, but like it shows me like him pitching, holding himself to not being a world champion. Weird decision. Him pitching, holding himself to not turn heel because rumored of the community work, right? Like you don't want some a-hole being like, I hate all these people. You guys are pieces of shit. And then like 7 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, little Timmy, I know you got cancer, but it's your favorite wrestler, Cody Rhodes. And like, aren't you the dude who said all people should get cancer last night? You know what I mean? Like, so whatever heel shit like horrible heel shit he does, like he didn't want to do that. He from rumors and Tony's like, dude, like that's. How it's been worded was like Tony was like he draws, so I'm not gonna say anything, but
I'm just gonna
he
let
should be
contract run
heel.
out, basically.
Yeah, and now it could be a thing, right? Like, yeah, no, you should have been the heel this whole time.
And
yeah,
all this has kind of been foreshadowed if it's real, and I will always say if it's real. And again, I think him signing with WWE doesn't necessarily make this real.
it could
in
be
a weird way.
booking.
I could see him saying to Tony like, "Hey, you want to get more eyes on AEW? Let me go to WWE for a year or two. I'll be back."
Yeah, I promise you, I'll be back. He's a man of his word. I mean, he literally has been working these past 6 weeks with a handshake deal.
Do I think that's the case? I don't know. I don't know. There's small little rumors out there that he could buy ROH. Like you said, he could go in there and run the new ROH. You know, he's ran here. Maybe like, hey, we can get Cody. I still think I agree with you that New Japan might be the way, because I think that New Japan, the whole Forbidden Door thing, leads him to be almost leading an attack against AEW. So I think there's that potential there. I forget. Now, there was something said previously, and I think we talked about this before, and I could not find the quote, but there was something where Tony Khan talked about there being a dream match that he wants here first, basically. Like, there's been dream match in the talks, and he wanted here and shit like that. So, like, things like that run in my head were like, hey, is that a way to get, like I said, finally, are we going to get the, what do they call it, war chamber?
War chamber, yeah.
We gonna
I forgot
get
what they called their version, yeah.
We're gonna get the Elite against the Bullet Club in a war chamber match. You know, like I said, Cody, Jay White, the Gorillas of Destiny, and then you got I'm assuming
the Bucks,
a returning Omega and Adam Cole, maybe. I don't know. I
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And even if I see Cody there, I'm still like, I don't get all of it. I don't
It's gonna be like
understand
5
it.
years down
It's
the line.
so
He's been Universal Champion 13 times. You'd be like, any day now.
no, but
And no one's wrong because that's professional wrestling. You just really don't know.
it's so weird to me because I'm like, is WWE offering him more money?
They have it, right? I mean, they literally fired 1 million people.
But like,
so they have the money.
but like, what? WWE can't see value outside of saying, "Aha, Tony, we took your guy," and in reality,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why these stories are coming out where Tony like let his contract run up because now Tony's like,
Yeah.
"You didn't steal shit. We didn't resign him. We didn't want him. I had an option to keep him,
Yeah.
and I said
chose
no.
not to.
Like he asked me for $4 million. You paid him $5 million. You're the dumbass. Like we didn't see value at $4 million.
Idiot.
You're paying $5 million for him to be on your mid card. Good job. All right. Yeah, he'll be back here when you fire him. Yeah, I mean that's where my mindset goes. Tony's like, all right, Cody, you want to go back to WWE? Just wait till their next cuts. You'll be back. And I won't be offering you $3 million when you come back. You want to come back, you can take $1 million.
That's Damocles' sword just like right above him, right? Like that's the scary thing about WWE, man. They'll pull the trigger for anybody, man. Like Bray Wyatt's gone. Like the shit is literally insane with how they run their business. And that's a thing I think that's echoed by a lot of people to kind of transition to the end of the show here.
Yeah.
We had some readers and some reader questions, some listener questions I pulled from some of my wrestling friends in the gaming community. So I'm going to read a couple and we'll kind of riff on this. Actually, you know what? We'll go backwards. I'll do gaming people last because I wanted to touch on Lou, a good friend of mine. We all went to North together. And Lou, he's famously in the second anniversary episode of AEW. You can see him. He's got the IWGP title in the one corner. Lucky son of a bitch. Anyway, I mentioned on Twitter, I was like, wanted to pull either questions, concerns, ideas, and feelings from Cody Rhodes leaving AEW for the next episode of Apron Works. So please comment down below. And I tagged a few people because I didn't know if like they are busy. Like what would they see? So Lou SARS goes, maybe the EVP title was finally realized that it was just a gimmick title to him. He doesn't have creative input as he wanted. As he did in the beginning. Business aside, maybe he was just tired, wants to be a dad to his child, which is, I was like, and I mentioned to Lou, I was like, that is a very fair point. I mean, a lot of people have been not criticizing, but everyone wants Gargano to show up. Their baby is due today. Like, I think their baby's supposed to be born today, and you never know. And the dude wants to be a dad. That's a good possibility. And then Luke goes on to say, I think he had another thought later on. He goes, or WWE gives him a big contract. He runs NXT like Eric Bischoff ran Raw. Here's another one. He goes and buy ROH. So similar wavelength to you. He could purchase ROH, right? And that's the thing. Like, what kind of cash flow does Cody have? I feel like he has a lot. He probably does.
You know who's probably got more than him?
Tonica?
Stephen Amell.
Steve. Oh, fuck.
There you go. There's so when this happens, I can run this clip over and over again and say,
dude,
Cody Rhodes is backed by Stephen Amell buying ROH. Stephen Amell gets to wrestle every once in a while. Perfect
for Stars' heels. You just have like random matches with ROH people in the background, right? You see a little Mecha Brian Johnson. You see a rest pass on a Carlos in the crowd in Georgia. Yeah, I'm down. Stephen Amell, hit me up. Listen, man, I got a Nightwing tattoo.
You don't need the old Ring of Honor announcers. You got two of us right here.
Yeah, listen, man, I'd do it for. No, I don't want to say free.
I would.
What's we could get some money. There's like a low pay.
Pay me McDonald's money.
They got craft services.
Not what they were asking for. Just pay me. Yeah, pay me minimum wage. I'm good with that.
I will get a Green Arrow tattoo on set by you. I don't care if you could draw or not. I will get it done. If you just let me.
At least one of us has a stamp of approval from Mecca. So if I get in there, I'll bring you with me. But
yeah, that's fair. And then going to some of our other fans in the gaming and wrestling podcast community, I wanted to pull Asa. Asa. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce your name, man. Asa Gray. He is one of the hosts of the nerdiest part of the rings. You guys can check them out. Their audio podcast. They also did the community podcast day that I did with Greg Miller. And he had a post, and I wanted to tag him because his own podcast was talking about it. But I was like, hey man, what do you think? And he's like, assuming that this is legit, which he's like, I want to preface, I do think it's legit. I don't think that people are realizing how big of a deal this is. It's possible we don't fully realize the impact until months from now. Either way, Rhodes' next move is going to be the most fascinating thing in wrestling. Wow, and that I mean, I have to agree with him, man. Like that is pretty freaking crazy, like where we're at right now with that, right?
Right.
I think it's no matter what. In the end of the day, this is the biggest news story in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I would have almost, I would have almost said, Bray showing if like Bray showed up tonight and Dynamite, I don't even think that's as big as what's happening now because we have not heard of someone leaving to go back to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
In this negative light.
I think the only other thing, if they announce tonight that Stone Cold is going to have a match at WrestleMania,
my God,
that's
big, yeah.
And the rumor of him possibly being there, and I guess this is the one thing that makes sense from a WWE standpoint. If they think that Cody is going to bring AEW eyes to WrestleMania, there's the two big rumors that Stone Cold may be there, wrestle, whatever. Then there's the other rumor about possibly Rock confronting Roman Reigns after Reigns beats Lesnar.
Yeah.
Now you get the eyes there, and then you do the whole build up to next year. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still. It doesn't make sense. It just it doesn't make sense for WWE to want Cody. It doesn't make sense for Cody to want WWE.
It really doesn't. And then
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And it's not. If WWE went to steal the Young Bucks, we'd believe this, right?
Yeah.
Right?
No, 100%.
We would believe them stealing Young Bucks. We would believe them stealing Kenny Omega.
They tried. Yeah.
We would believe them stealing Hangman, MJF, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin.
Yeah.
The hell, Orange Cassidy. I'd believe all that stuff more than this. I think that's what makes it more difficult. Like if they were trying to tell us that Impact was willing to pay Cody the same amount of money and allow him to work hand in hand with Scott D'Amore, and give him stake in it, then I'd be like, oh shit, all right. Like Impact, even if Impact gave him a little less money, all right, I get it from Cody's perspective. He wants to feel like he created something. He wants to feel appreciated.
He wants to have something,
and they're gonna show their appreciation the best they can when he knows that Tony Khan could have appreciated him more financially.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm dumbfounded. I don't see that Vince or anybody in Vince's ears are saying, other than the fact that, hey, we can prove we can sign away AEW's EVP, that like, does nobody watch the product? Do they not know that Cody is the last guy that anybody in AEW is like, damn you, Vince? And I know people are doing it now and saying, oh, that sucks. I can't, but they're not even mad at WWE.
Yeah,
they're like mad at Cody for choosing WWE over AEW, even though they didn't, for the most part, they didn't want to see him out there because Cody isn't going to take away his music. He's not going to take away his virus. He's not going to talk differently. I know that everybody wants to be him a heel, but guess what? If you want him to be heel, you're going to start cheering him as a heel. Yeah. And now you're just making him a fucking face again.
It's that Becky Lynch effect, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna turn her heel. It's like, well, we just want her to be popular. Like, do we just want her in this
we just
picture?
want her. We just want Cody
or Roman now, right?
We just want Cody to stop talking like he is an '80s Hulk Hogan. Like, that's all we want. That's all we want. He doesn't have to come out here and talk about how I'm in a mixed family and I represent America and I'm the all-American boy and look at my tattoo. It's red, white, and blue and I bleed. I bleed America. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, John Cena got booed for that more than anything else. It was not his lack of wrestling ability. It was not even his corniness. It was the fact that when any normal person would have broke, he's selling vitamins, sleeping better, hustle, loyalty, and respect. And it's like, dude, you can break that temporarily for this feud. Stop aiming towards the kids. The kids ain't going to remember if this one feud, if you just let it all out and said, you know what? Fuck the fans. Fuck everybody. I'm doing this for me. And you're like, oh, shit.
We've only seen that once.
We could see that come out.
Yeah. Yep. We only saw that once, and that was that Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania.
But that's what, like, and the old gangster scene that came out during the whole Rock promos and stuff, and that's why people got into that more, because they're like, all right, cool. Like, you don't need to go full-fledged heel. We don't even need you to come out and start flipping people off and stealing kids' hats. Like, but, like, try not to act like you're on a 3-year-old kid's YouTube show. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, and that's, I think that was a fair criticism with Cody. I had my fair criticism. I do like him. Like I said at the top of the show, I do like him. I have been a fan of his work. I just, man, I don't know where this lands. And to kind of echo my sentiments for a lot of this, I'm going to pull the final tweet from a buddy of mine, Mary Rivera, over at Point in Progress. You check them out. They're awesome podcasts. YouTube.com/Point in Progress. I've been on their stuff. You know what I mean? Just saying. There's a little Nintendo Direct. You can see me. We make fun of Kirby being able to suck a lot of things real quick, and his OnlyFans. But his quote is it's like, I love Cody Rhodes, but I do not understand this move whatsoever. Whatever is going on behind the scenes to cause this ultimately sounds pointless. I don't think it's a heel thing. Does he think the landscape doesn't have a place for him? Like, question mark. That's I mean, this is going to be a thing, which is weird because it's just developed. I mean, literally, it's Thursday as of recording. This happened Monday, reported Tuesday, and we're talking about it Thursday. And he can't show up Friday. That's taped, So he's 3-hour drive from to the performance center, and he'll apparently do vignettes, and he might show up on Raw. He might show up on SmackDown. He might have his first day at WrestleMania. Who knows? It's just so up in the air. It's so weird. And funny enough, I think we're going to... they kept calling it Cody time. I think a lot of people online, like when he would come out, because he felt like all his promos were all on like a different level. Not a different level, but like just completely different from whatever was happening in AEW. Like it had no... not meaning, but like it had no qualm or like whatever to it, right? It didn't feel like it fit with the rest of the show. I'm thinking we're gonna have a Cody segment now almost every week for a little bit. We'll just tie it in with when we shit on WWE. We're like, positive. Apparently Cody's a Universal Champion. Negative. Brock Lesnar defeated Big E with like 18 suplexes for some reason and made him look weak in 2 seconds. So here's the positive and negative. Cody Rhodes unified all the titles. That's cool. He ended racism.
To come full circle in this episode, to me, with all this, it doesn't make sense for WWE. It doesn't make sense for Cody Rhodes. It doesn't make sense for AEW. So it's so confusing. Unless Cody retires, it's so confusing because I'm going to come full circle and compare this to the Ben Simmons saga with the Sixers, right? And there's a lot of things in and out of it. But one of the biggest things that was his problem was he didn't like the fact that the Sixers organization viewed this as Joel Embiid's team and not his team. And he wanted to be somewhere where it was his team because that's what he wanted to be built on. And it would be the equivalent of him saying that, right? I'm holding out. I want to be the man. Send me somewhere I can be the man. And then deciding he wants to go to the Lakers, that is LeBron and Anthony Davis's team, and he's going to be third fiddle and will always be third fiddle while they're there. And then is like, well, I'm happy now. And you're like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Wait. You're going to go to a place where they now have two guys over you. You're never going to be higher than either one of them. They're both always going to be better than you. It wasn't about money. It was about respect and this and this and this. You're making less money there because they don't have enough money to pay you. What was this all about? Like, it just don't make sense. And that's where this whole thing, it doesn't, unless you lead me to believe that Tony just didn't want him back.
Yeah, and that's
the only part of this that if you can, if that's the only thing that makes this real. If Tony legit was like, dude, you're not worth the money we paid you. Like, you're a draw, but you're not the draw, and we're paying you like the draw. You have to be paid with your place. And even if we took that stipulation from you, you still wouldn't be a headliner with us. We've brought in guys that have bigger names than you now. We needed you before. We don't need you now. You need us. And that's what I'm viewing. Maybe that's the way the conversation where Tony said, you need us. And Cody said, fuck if I do. WWE has been knocking at my door this whole time. You're going to tell me I need you?
I can easily go back.
I'll go there. And I will literally shit on you guys. Like, you're going to fucking take this away from me? I'm going to take this shit away from you. And just wait.
I will burn this bitch down.
My buddies that their contracts are going to be up. You think things are going to survive with QT not being there? I can bring him to WWE with me. You know, I'm not saying all that's happening, but that's the only thing that like I'm picturing that makes sense. Where you now have a spiteful Cody. Like
it could very well be. You know, that is absolutely a possibility with Cody Rhodes. That's absolutely a possibility with Cody Rhodes. And that's the other thing too, right? Just making fun of like MJF being like, I'll be in Stanford in like 3 years and all this stuff. Fuck, there could be a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was this bad, there's always a fucking chance, and that shit is insane.
And
to talk
MJF
about.
does have a relationship with Cody. I know the whole thing.
He does, yeah. They're very close, yeah.
You know who else is very close with him? Ricky Starks is very close with him. There is some talent that is known as
it's loyal, man.
AEW's future that is close to him.
That's absolutely a possibility, man.
There's a guy like Cardona. Matt Cardona
like
is all over the fucking
friends.
place. And to be honest with you, AEW could be, you know, feed him from that teat. You know, this Matt Cardona hot rise. They could probably be feeding from that just as much on part-time appearances, and that might go away with Cody going. So I don't know. I'm standing by that this is all some ruse, and they are just doing a fucking outstanding job.
Outstanding, honestly, yes.
Because they have me questioning myself. They have all of us question ourselves, and if it's not true, it sucks.
That's a crazy thing.
It sucks. It sucks because it was. It sucks that something like that could get in the way of what Cody built. And I'm not going to blame Cody. Most people will.
I'm sure.
Especially if it comes down to money or booking power. Most people will. But a lot of people can understand that. It's like if you built a company, and I don't care what the fuck it is, you built a company from ground up, you hired in all this talent, and somebody just is better than you at it, and now you just built this whole thing around you. You got people backing you, and they're like, whoa, wait. He just brought in all this talent that's better at selling these things than he is. What do we need him for? We're paying him more than them. They're doing all the work. And you're like, hey, Carlos, you still want to be the president of this? You got to take this away. You got to take this away.
Yep.
You're going to have to take a pay cut, my dude, because we have all this talent. We got to pay them.
Yeah.
And you're
we
like,
got this other guy from this other company that like
you're like, what the fuck? I brought
hasn't
them
done it
all
for
in.
7 years, but he gets paid more than you.
And you're like, what the fuck? I'm the reason why we were even a name. And they're like, my money was the reason why you were named. You wouldn't be here without my money. And
I mean, and there's the final thing, right? Couldn't TK just be like, hey, Dad, I need some money over here. I know you just gave money to Doug Peterson real quick, but can you throw some cash over here?
But if anything shows you that they are not wanting to do what WCW did, if this is real, I'm going to applaud Tony Khan. If this is real. If this is real, I'm going to applaud him for it. Whether he's right or wrong, that is not for me to decide.
That's fair.
But if he feels like he was going to be overpaying him for what he brings, and he just said, nah, dude, and he stuck to his guns, then bravo. And I have higher hopes for AEW than what I thought I did.
Yeah, and he's like us, right? Like I said, for better or worse, he's a good and bad of wrestling fans, especially our age range, everything like that. He just has a shitload more money than we've ever had in our lives or probably ever will.
Yeah.
If you're right, if that's the case, you gotta give it to him, right? No, I mean honestly, like I maybe don't agree with him, but we've seen the rise and fall of WCW. And I ain't even talking about the fucking DVD. I'm talking about legitimately. We've lived that. We didn't think we would get here with AEW. We never thought we would have an AEW. Everyone thought TNA might be the thing. It never was the thing. ROH is a pillar. You know, we've talked about it in previous episodes. It's a pillar in the wrestling community, and it sucks that it's no longer around. And hopefully they can bounce back in 2 months and see what Supercard of Honor does and moving forward, what the company is. But I don't know if ROH would have ever been that third or second company, right? But they were a pillar. They were a mainstay. They were the thing holding up what wrestling was while WWE was being entertainment. And AEW just comes out of nowhere, built on the backs of people who made ROH and Impact a thing in New Japan. And it's like, wait, we can do this. We can actually make a marketable thing. If Tony's being like, hey, listen, man, I saw how that went. We all know how it went. You have to learn from our history. We can't do this again. Yeah. So maybe you have to do that journey again, right? Maybe you got to go to WWE. Show me that I need to pay you more than Punk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's, and I love the fact that if this is real, he used his head, not his heart. Because it gives you high hopes that if he's paying, I have no idea how much he's paying CM Punk. No idea. Let's say he's paying him $6 million. Let's say he's paying him $6 million, right? If it gets to the point where he signed a 3-year deal and the third year, it's just too much money for what he's actually bringing in. Mm-hmm. He's not participating as much as they want. The fans just are not. I would like to think that he'd be like, the money doesn't add up, Punk. If you want to stay here and do this with us and have fun, you know, you're going to have to take half the money or we just can't do this. I feel like a guy like Brian Cage, kind of all the talent in the world, don't know what happened behind the scenes. Something clearly happened. It might have got to the point where Cage wanted to have more control and Tony said no. Yeah, like absolutely. We have guys like Punk that are asking me if he can do something and you're telling me that you should be doing this. Like no, move along. And maybe that's what this came down to was Cody was like,
thanks for helping us set it up, but it's time.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw away our future because you need to have a pissing contest with the other guys to make the most money because you feel like you deserve it. I tell you how much you are worth to me, and you're not worth that because we're going to lose money. And if that's the way he's viewing it, I applaud him for it. I don't know. I still think it's a work. But yeah, I don't know. Again, that's the only way that makes sense is if Tony said, "I don't want you." Oh, you'll take $500,000 a year? I don't want you.
Yes,
that's still too much.
I'm good.
Nah, I'm good.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah. So that's if that comes out officially, that's what makes the most sense out of this. But it's still so fucking random. I mean, I don't think any of us would have bet if you looked back at like the main guys that started this, and I'll include like Hangman and Jericho, with the first guys. Cody might be the last guy. He might be the last one out of all of them.
I assumed it would have been Jericho first.
Yeah.
And then
and I would think
maybe some homegrown talent.
I thought Hangman, out of the ones who started it other than Jericho, might possibly. Maybe the Young Bucks if they gave him an enormous amount of cash to steal him away.
Like literally all the cash in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Omega's like, you know what, you're gonna give us against the New Day. I'll go there for a year. I don't know.
I want to wrestle Xavier once.
I didn't see Cody going. I just didn't see it. So I think that's what hits a lot of people. They're like, it just doesn't make.
To be fair,
sense.
I also assumed that Cody would have been AEW champion. Yeah, I mean, like I honestly would have thought he was gonna be champion, and he was not.
I don't know.
That's the crazy thing, man.
You're gonna get black hair Cody in New Japan.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks.
Yep. Just wait till they break down that forbidden door. I don't know. I really hope that he goes full-fledged fuck WWE when he's in WWE, or full-fledged shit all over AEW, because that's the only way that works. He's
one or the other,
man.
One or the
other.
other.
He's gonna have to fully shit. He can't just come in. What's really gonna happen is the vignette is gonna show him running around in the back as Stardust. And be like, where the hell has he been for years?
Yeah, I've been under the ring. Yeah, I've been looking for you.
And then he comes out, wipes off his face. He's like, it was me the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, it's Cody Rhodes. What?
Oh my God, they're the same person. Or it's going to be 9 segments over a shitload of weeks with Alexa Bliss's therapist.
Just Cody,
that's what it's going to be. It's like,
Cody Rhodes talking to a mirror that's Stardust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude. This is literally the weirdest thing in wrestling. Yeah. I mean, we can keep going on and on and on.
It's funny. We're not going to talk. I kind of felt like we would, but yeah,
This was one of those things. Like, we keep making caveats. This is the biggest thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, the year's young, right? I don't know what's going to top this, but
yeah, I
think by the end of this year, when we do a recap, this is still going to be the biggest news story that happened this year. Guaranteed.
Yeah, for a work or not a work, yeah. Depending, literally, in any of our 4 scenarios, right? It's a work and he comes back. He's in WWE, wrestles at WrestleMania. He buys ROH, or he goes to New Japan and leads a Bullet Club revolution. In any of those scenarios, this probably ends up being the biggest story of this year, and we're in February.
February.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're creeping up on 2 hours. I love that we were gonna get hour 15-minute episodes, and we're not over 2 hours.
I'm like, oh, we're going over.
We're not over 2 hours, and that's what we were getting at. So there's progress there, people. It's progress.
We're getting there.
But
Stop having big stories.
Yeah, exactly. Or give us more information before we record, and then we don't have to do all these what ifs, ends, and buts, and come up with all of our own things. But on that note, we will see you when we see you.